A few days ago, I uploaded a video where I farmed a bot farm inside of the Rev Caves, and since that video, a lot has changed. This all came about from me reading the comments on that video, where somebody had commented that the bot scripts had already been changed, and that the bots had already had a big upgrade. And this was only a few hours after the upload, and the information that I received was that the bots no longer ate food when they were hit with Saradomin's Strike, which obviously is the method I was using to smite the bots for their Amulets of Avarice. I have absolutely no doubt that this was in response to my video, where the bot owners must have seen how many bots of theirs that I smited, and how much money I made. And this was clearly an attempt to decentivize any of you guys from killing their bots. So I decided to gear my account back up and head back into the wilderness. But before stepping foot into the wilderness, you should take all necessary precautions. Not everybody is as well intended as yourselves. Some people will stoop to the level of even breaking the law in order to obtain your items by going as far as even a DDoS attack, which is where today's sponsor NordVPN plays a massive role. NordVPN hides your IP address by allowing you to connect to different servers all across the world, hiding your actual IP address from any malicious threats. With more than 5,600 servers in 59 countries where it's extremely easy to use. With just one click, you can connect to a server near yourself for a better speed, or even a different country to unlock content that's not available where you're from. Head on over to nordvpn.com/RaikesyVPN for a huge discount off of the 2-year plan with an additional 4 months for free. It also comes with some amazing free products such as the Nord Pass, which remembers your passwords and is perfect for RuneScape. So make sure you use my link down in the description, and if you aren't fully satisfied with your purchase, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. On my entry back into the Revenant Caves, the tip-off I'd received proved to be true. The bots no longer ate their food, and this would happen after you successfully landed a Saradomin's Strike. This update at face value originally annoyed me, because it was blatantly obvious that the bot owners had done this to try and put players off from killing them. Not being able to smite the bots makes killing them a lot less appealing. And I'm sure that the bot owners were chuckling and having a good old laugh at the fact that they'd been able to dupe us. But little did they know that they had actually duped themselves. You see, they have just unintentionally created the best moneymaker in game. And I'm going to show you how. It is no longer possible to smite these bots with Saradomin's Strike. Once you cast upon them your Saradomin's Strike, they completely submit, they stop attacking, and they stop eating their food. Which subsequently means that you kill them at an accelerated speed. And you know what they say, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. That was the quickest 5 keys I've ever got from these bots. Let's take a look at how much we just made. And do you know what the best part is? Now I can actually attack the lower level accounts because they don't eat. Means that I can kill them incredibly fast. Whereas before I would usually leave the low level accounts because they just weren't worth killing, because they only had 2 levels to tank and it was incredibly difficult to get them. This upgrade that they've just had is actually amazing for PKers. The calculations are in, and this right here is 1.9 mil. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reset all of this, and we're gonna start from fresh, and I am gonna go and see how much I can make in 1 hour of killing these bots now that they don't eat any food. No way! It's Departings! Holy shit, he's had an upgrade. He's a ranger now. He is now a range bot. That is absolutely amazing. Oh my god, that is incredible. He is no longer a Saradomin sword wielder. Oh, holy shit. Our boy's all grown up. Alright guys, the timer has started. Let's have a look at how much we can make in this hour. Something I discovered in the first few minutes was the importance of landing the Saradomin's Strike. As you'll see in this clip, I actually splashed the first one. So then when I continued attacking the bot, it continued to eat food and changing its prayers. Now, after I successfully hit a Saradomin's Strike, you'll notice that the bot now doesn't eat food, doesn't change his prayers, and will only sip prayer potions and move when it's unfrozen. That is our 5th and final key, and we managed to get that in just 8 minutes. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to pause the timer so we can see how much we just made in those 8 minutes. Yeah, quite a lot by the looks of it. I've just added all of this up, and it comes to 1.8 mil, which means if we carry on at this pace, we should be looking to make around about 10 mil an hour. There's absolutely no need for me to be risking the amount that I'm risking. So I'm actually going to degrade my gear here slightly. I no longer need to use Saradomin Strike after I get the initial hit. So to save runes and also to save myself some risk, I'm gonna just downgrade to the Amulet of Glory. If I really wanted to, I could also downgrade to a rune crossbow with Dragon Bolts. We are gonna continue the timer and see what we make in this remaining hour. There's 1.3 mil in that key. I'm at 14 minutes now, so we actually made 2 minutes. This guy had an ancient totem. I'm guessing that's like the mill one then in that case. Nice. I'm starting to think that this update the bots had may have actually just been a buff for us, to be honest. This is even more money than Smite in these things. I am swapping out my combat bracelet for the Bracelet of Ethereum just because these hobgoblins are wrecking me right now. I want to see if this helps, and it should. We are currently 34 minutes into this. I have just deposited another 5 keys, and this is how the loot tracker looks. 7.6 mil. We have made 7.6 mil in 35 minutes. Of all of the money makers that I've done in my time, it's crazy to think that I really feel the need to include all of these clips. But at the end of the day, this really shouldn't be possible. We only have 4 minutes left on the clock, so I think I'm just gonna call it there for an hour. The moment of truth. From 1 hour of killing bots, post-upgrade, we managed to make 10.6 mil. That is pretty astonishing. There is also one kill that for some reason didn't get picked up on the loot tracker, which would probably take this to 11 mil. I am quite a fan of this bot upgrade that they've made. I think I may do a couple more hours, see if we can keep a loot track consistent to this hour. I did continue killing the bots for a further 4 hours, because like many of you I imagine right now, I was also wondering if I just got incredibly lucky. Maybe the planets aligned and just circumstances meant that I had an insane hour. Now during the remaining 4 hours, I noticed that not all of the bots here had this upgrade. Some of the bots worked exactly how they did in my previous video, which to me makes a lot of sense because it indicates that there are various bot scripts and various bot owners at work here. Something quite ironic is that the bots that hadn't had this upgrade, for the most part, I just let them run away. They were way more effort to kill. Something that I didn't really stress in my last video was just how long some of the bots took to kill. And the reason for that was because the money was already really good. You just had to put in a bit of elbow grease to get the reward. But these bots with this new upgrade were on a whole new level of free money. I'm editing the video right now in disbelief that the bot owners actually thought this would be a good idea. Just a little bit over 2 hours now. And as you can see, we now have 59 kills and we have made 20 mil. Pretty consistent with the first hour. 3 hours is creeping up upon us right now. And as you can see, we have 85 confirmed kills and we have made 30 mil. I've got another 5 keys. We have just passed the 4 hour mark, and as you can see, we have 37.8 mil. And then after these keys, we have 39.6 mil. We've got just under an hour remaining. I'm gonna see how close I can get this figure to 50 mil. The timer is about to be finished, and this is gonna be the final kill that we get towards the loot here. Pretty standard as you'd come to expect. And on the loot tracker right now, as you can see, we're at the 49 mil mark. These last keys are going to push us just over 50 mil. And there we have it. If I take out the ancient totem from this price check, because this is obviously an anomaly, then that would take us to 49.8 mil. So yeah, it's basically 50 mil. 10 mil per hour for the last 5 hours. There's no part of me that imagines these bots are going to keep it like that, because this is even better than before. I was not making 10 mil per hour before, and in that entire last video I uploaded, I think I got just over 200 kills. And that took a good couple days. This took 5 hours. Now, I continued to track the bot farm at the Revenant Hobgoblins all weekend, and after the insane day of making 10 mil plus an hour, I'm assuming the person running the bot realized that programming their bots to essentially bend over and touch its toes, while being attacked by others, wasn't the brightest idea. At this point, I realized hopping worlds that there had been a massive dip in the amount of bots at Hobgoblins. I would estimate there was probably less than half of what there was beforehand. Now, there were a few bots that were still remaining, most of which were really low level range accounts with Red Dragonhide, and I would run into the occasional mid-level bot. None of these bots responded to Saradome and Strike as the others did, so I decided to try and track them down, because at the time I assumed that the bot owner must have just moved the bots somewhere else inside of the caves. And to my surprise, I found bots in every crevice and corner of the Revenant Caves, which kind of surprised me. In a lot of cases, the areas where these bots were hiding were just in the plain open. Unlike the bots that farm the Hobgoblins, these were way easier to kill. I checked every part of the Rev Cave for this particular bot farm and I had no luck. Although I found a lot of bots, I didn't find the particular bots that I was looking for. So it would seem that whoever the person is that owns those bots has just completely pulled them from the wildy. I'm unsure if this is because they realized what was happening, or maybe it was just a countermeasure, because since I uploaded my last video, I have noticed a huge influx of actual PKers at that location killing the bots. Making this video has given myself, and hopefully some of you, a very rare insight to just how much wealth these bots are producing. The reality is that making 10 mil an hour from killing the bots is a fraction of the amount of money that these bot farms are making, which are running night and day, and for the most part go undetected by Jagex. On a slightly brighter note, I made around about 70 mil from killing bots in this video, and I bought myself a new wand.